Hey everybody, welcome back to Frannie Square, or welcome if this is your first time here. Today I'm going to do another flash review where I review crochet products in less than 5 minutes. Today's product comes from my latest ice yarn haul. If you haven't watched that, I'll put a link here. Go check it out. It was a lot of fun. The product today is Ice Yarn's hand-dyed batik yarn, and it is 50% cotton, 50% polyester. It comes in 200 gram skeins, 2 skeins per pack. Each pack is $7.99, so each skein is about $3.99. Each skein has 200 meters or 218 yards per skein. It's a 3-weight yarn, and they recommend that you use a 3 to 4 millimeter hook with this. Now, the first thing I noticed when I pulled this out of the packaging was that it was not at all what I expected. At 50% cotton, 50% polyester, I expected it to feel like a regular yarn. Not so. This feels more like a cord. If you can see here, it's stiff. There's no way I'd use this for a piece of clothing or a blanket. It really did take me by surprise. When I looked up what batik means, batik is a process of dyeing textiles where they use wax in places they don't want the dye to take. So that very well could be the process used on this yarn. I don't know. It certainly feels like it could be. When I went to compare this with other yarns, which I do when I do reviews because I want to see how yarns compare price-wise, materials-wise, color selection-wise, when I went to look for a comparable yarn, I could not find one. Even yarns that had batik in the name were 100% acrylic or some other combination, and they did not look like they were stiff like this. There simply wasn't anything else out there like this. If you've seen something like this, please let me know. I couldn't find it. So let's talk price. Because it's an ice yarn, I have to make sure I include the shipping charges into the price per skein. And if you haven't watched my video on how I do that, I'll put a link here. So after doing my calculation, I figured out that it cost me about $1 to ship about 100 grams of ice yarns to me. Since this skein has 200 grams in it, I add $2 to it, which brings me to a price of $5.99 per skein. Now, as I said, I could not find a comparable yarn to compare prices for 218 yards of a 3-weight yarn. $5.99 is a good price. I'd probably give it a 3 or a 4 on my Frannie Square scale. Now, as far as color selection goes, this was it. It's the only color selection, and while I love it, I can't give it a high score on color selection. It gets a 1 on color selection. As far as softness goes, it's not soft. I would never use it for clothing, as I said, or for a blanket, or for anything against my body. And for softness, I'd have to give it a 1. For ease of use, it's very easy to use. I started putting together a market bag, just doing double crochets, and I think it's going to actually clean off very easily. It seems like you could just wash it off because of the material. It slips right off the hook. There's no splitting involved, so in that way it's easy. But as far as the scope of uses that you could use it for, it's limited. I think the perfect use for this type yarn would be in home decor, maybe making baskets or plant hangers, or like I'm doing, make a market bag. So for ease of use, I'd have to give this yarn a 3, because while it is easy to use on the hook, there aren't as many uses for the yarn. So for my overall rating, I would give this yarn a 4 for price, a 1 for color selection, a 1 for softness, and a 3 for ease of use, giving it a total score of 2.25 Frannie squares. Now, while that score is rather low, if you are looking to do some home decor items like baskets and plant hangers or market bags, this could be the perfect yarn for you. Well, I hope you found that information helpful. As always, thank you so much for joining me. I truly appreciate it. Remember to make it your own, and I'll see you soon.